welcome back to the Insurance Business Babes podcast. And today we have a podcast about something that you, as an insurance agent, may or may not experience directly, but you may have clients that experience this issue. And this is an issue that I'm going through right now. And so Joanna and I were talking about this right before we were having our pre-show conversation, and Joanna said, "Why don't we record this?" So, listener, we're recording this on 12/26/2026. I'm not sure if and when I'm going to record this or release this episode, just because it's happening right now, and I want to make sure that I don't impede the care that my husband's getting. So, Joanna,
Mhm.
welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So, Joanna, if you are not aware, used to work for Social Security. So, she
Mhm.
has some information that a lot of us don't have because she's an insider. We should change her name to Insider Joanna. The
So I'm glad you brought that up, Kathy. I actually have a project I haven't told you about yet.
Oh, really? Tell me.
Well, now that so we don't know when we're going to release this, so I'll tell you. I am about to submit a trademark for my new project. I've been giving away topics and content and speaking on stages for years now, since 2020, so over 5 years now. Facebook group, 7 8 years. And I never wrote a book. I have a million courses on Social Security. I have probably over 1,000 hours of advice given across Facebook groups and stuff. So I'm going to trademark the name, the Insider Track to Social Security.
No way. We are on such a common wavelength. Joanna
Hmm.
and we kind of think the same ways.
So
Very
I'm going to
exciting.
submit that, and then I'm going to start writing that book. A lot of the book is already written in a verbal format. Like, I have a class and a whole thing. So I'm just going to use technology to take my words and transcribe my words. Right.
Combine them
Um.
into a readable format.
Right. Exactly. Because I've already done the work.
That's what I did with my book.
Oh, did
So,
you?
yeah, back in, I don't know, 2022 or something, I wrote an
Hmm.
Amazon best-selling book
I didn't know
about,
that.
I did. Yeah, I'm not really a promoter, but it was a best-selling book on Amazon, and it was about drug plans.
Okay.
And of course, it's all outdated now. It's probably still on Amazon because I haven't taken it down yet. I hope
Yeah.
you don't buy it because it's all outdated information about the donut hole and all the things that don't exist
Hmm.
anymore. But yeah, so it's fairly easy if you have content to
Hmm.
create a
Hmm.
book. You just need the right formatting for Amazon, which is where most of us are going to sell our books. So, okay, well, so listener, that gives you the background. So, the reason why we're meeting today is that I am going through something that some of your clients might go through if they're not going through it
Mm.
now. And that is my husband needed to go into assisted living. And assisted living in South Carolina, where we live, does not allow assisted devices. Like it doesn't allow Hoyer lifts, it doesn't allow gate belts, it doesn't allow bed rails. There are a lot of things that it doesn't allow, and it also does not have hardly any laws to protect the residents that live there. In fact, a lot of where my husband is, a lot of the people come in from Georgia because we're so close to the Georgia border, and the laws in Georgia are a lot more stringent than in South
Mhm.
Carolina. South Carolina, somebody can work in assisted living, they can actually pass meds out and not even be a CNA. They don't
Uh,
have to require any training whatsoever. And a lot of the people on staff that are assisting our loved ones in South Carolina have zero training. They're not even a CNA.
wow.
And so my husband's issue is that he is 6'1", and when he moved in there, he was 155 pounds. He's now 144 pounds.
155 pounds.
Yep,
Was
because
skinnier than I was at 5'5" and skinny. So
he's
like
very thin.
he must
Yeah.
be a bed rail.
Well, he's very thin. So at 155, he was thin, and that was because of the chemo. Didn't feel like eating. At 144,
Mhm.
part of that is because of what's going on, what happened in the assisted living. So the
Okay.
second day he was there, he fell, and
Mm.
then he became bedridden. And he was bedridden for about a week, and then the
Mhm.
occupational therapy and PT that he was getting on a Monday through Friday basis helped get him out of bed, and he was going to the dining room and eating. But in that time process, somewhere he got a bed sore. And
Mm.
I was not aware of it at the time until the day before he moved into a rehab hospital.
Mm.
Now, it was reported to me by the night staff that was changing him. While I was there, I was 3, 4 times a day, up to 6 hours a day sometimes. I thought
Mhm.
my life was going to get easier when he moved into assisted living,
Mhm.
and it actually got harder. I spent a lot of my time driving back and forth. Luckily, it's only 5 minutes. But this bed sore, when she told me he had one, I'm like, oh, I didn't know he had one. Let me take a picture.
Mm.
Listener, please make sure that you tell your clients that if they ever hear about, see anything about a sore on one of their loved ones that's in assisted living, long term care, any kind of community, make sure they get pictures and the
Mhm.
dates. Now, our phones will automatically store the dates that the pictures are
Mhm.
taken, but make sure they get pictures. I am so glad I took that picture because now, because he was two-person assist, because of the fact that nobody's trained,
Mhm.
and he's so tall, even
Mhm.
though he doesn't weigh anything, he's very tall. And for compared to most of the people that are in assisted living, most of them are women and they're a lot smaller.
Really?
He's difficult to get up.
Mhm.
It's difficult for him to do transfers. And also his Parkinson's disease makes him stiffen up, which makes it even more
Mm.
difficult for him to be assisted with a transfer. I know because I've this is one of the reasons I can't pick him up. Of
Mhm.
course, I'm not trained. I'm not a CNA. I have
Oh,
no
not
clue.
trained either. That's
Apparently not.
crazy.
Apparently
Because
not.
Kathy, my mom was a CNA at a nursing home for my entire childhood, and she had to have the training to do it
I know.
herself.
I
And she
know.
was lifting 200 plus pound people.
I have videos of two different women that are probably about 110 pounds each, maybe one is lighter, doing it without a gait belt on their own without getting hurt. Okay. So I know it can be done. And when I told the director of nursing, she says, well, everyone has their own technique. And in my head, I'm like, well, the techniques are wrong because they're getting hurt and they're not doing it right. If
Right.
110, 90, 100-pound person can do it, a 275 person should be able to do it without getting hurt. Okay.
Oh,
So, and I'm just on the weights here, but I'm just saying these a lot of the women that are that got hurt, they're big. They're not small
sure.
110-pound women. They're bigger.
Mhm.
And anyway, he was getting PT, he was getting better.
Mhm.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but and then the director of nursing and the mobile doctor stopped me as I was on my way out and said, he needs to go to a rehab hospital.
Mm.
And do we have your permission to get him evaluated? And I said, yes, after some
Mhm.
conversation with them. What I did not know is that one, they can refuse to take him back. And number two, I had a conversation with the doctor at the rehab yesterday, and he said they probably will refuse to take him back, not because of the standing issue, but because of the bed sore that he got while he
That
was
they
there.
caused.
Yes. And so this is a big issue. If if he can't go back to assisted, my only recourse is skilled nursing.
Mhm.
And the doctor at the rehab said, don't put him in skilled because he'll only get rehab 3 days a week.
So the
And
reason he needs to be in a facility is the rehab. It's not
correct. Well, it's
okay.
also because he can't he can't transfer on his own. He's really he went down so fast from that fall on December 2nd.
I'm recalling the husband I met last summer, and he was way more than 155 pounds, walking on his own, driving on his own.
Yep, and he's not capable of that
I'm
at this
so
point. He can't
sorry.
even get out of bed. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you. But this isn't because now I have a dilemma. Do I want to cause a big stink at
Mhm.
the assisted living community and take
Mhm.
the chance that now I'll be banned? This is a very small community. People talk
Mhm.
within the communities, and then I'll be labeled as a troublemaker,
Mhm.
and then nobody will want to accept him. Or, do I file a lawsuit if they
Mm.
won't? Because when I was searching what to do if my husband has a bed sore and now the community won't take him,
Mhm.
attorneys, the attorney SEO going on, right? And
Mhm.
for that question and said, here's what to do if there's a bed sore. And bed sores are always the fault of where he's living, is basically what they said.
Mm.
They said that if he's living in assisted or a skilled and has a bed sore, the fault of that community for lack of care.
Mhm.
And and here's the thing, I didn't know he had a bed sore. I'm not the one that changes him.
Well, so my problem with them is they didn't give you updates that he had one. You happened to accidentally find out because someone was speaking about it in your presence.
That community needs to have some systems in place. I can tell you they didn't. When I went in there at night to get some clothes, and the night staff didn't even know that he was gone.
That's crazy.
There should be some systems in place, some checklists, some this patient isn't here or not resident isn't
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
Even though assisted living isn't a skilled living community, there still needs
Mhm.
to be some systems in place for the community to alert their staff of
Mhm.
people being gone, people that need additional assistance. And right now, it doesn't appear that that happens. Now, to be fair to that community, I run the biggest Facebook group in my community, which has 18,000 residents. I've got
Mhm.
5,200 people in the Facebook. But he hates pretty much all of the communities around here that are attached to skilled nursing.
Mhm.
There are some communities that people like for assisted, but here's my problem. I want to be within 10 minutes of a
Mhm.
drive. I don't want to be 15 minutes because that turns into 30 minutes in traffic.
Right.
And I don't want to be, I say I'm 45 minutes away, which is where the really good ones are that everybody loves. So I'm limited because I'm going there 3 times a day. Wherever he
Mhm.
is, I want it to be close so that I can be there with him. And all my friends, I don't know why people say this to me all the time. Why don't you get him care at home? I will tell
Well,
you why.
that's what I would have said because I'm not in the know. Like I don't know. I why are we not trying at home? Wouldn't it be cheaper?
Let me explain.
Yeah, I would
My
love
hus
to.
my husband needs 24-hour care
Mhm.
because he can fall at any time. I can't
Okay.
take him to the bathroom.
Okay.
I can't change him. He's too
Mhm.
big. I'm not trained. I don't have to do this.
Mhm.
And I know that women take care of their husbands all the time. When
Mhm.
Les and I got married, I told him, this is not something I'm going to be capable of. You
Well,
need to
you
go on
don't
my
weigh
last.
145 pounds.
No, I weigh 115. Okay.
Exactly. A very small. You've never met Kathy.
I used to be bigger, but
It's okay. But
during COVID
no,
I
that's
lost
not.
weight. But
I'm not shaming you for not taking care of your husband.
no, I'm
But
going to
wouldn't
tell
it
you
be
why.
cheaper to have higher care to come in?
Let me explain why.
Uh,
You would think it would be cheaper, and it is if all you need is 4 hours a day.
okay,
Okay. Where I
2 hours a day.
I need 24 hours a day. That's
Mhm.
why I wanted him to go to the community in the first place. Our
Mhm.
first initial idea was he was going to go there at night because he walked in there. Granted, he
Mhm.
was using a walker, and he was just get home during the day.
Mhm.
Well, 2 days he did that, but
Mhm.
he the second day he fell, and then he was
How did
completely
he fall?
bedridden.
Was he under their care? Was he not
No,
supervised?
no, he was with me. I was taken. So the second day I took him home after the shift at my house. I took him
Mhm.
back to Canterfield, or I took him back to the living community,
Mhm.
and I couldn't get him out of the car.
Mhm.
And so they called an aide to come help get him out of the car. And now I'm thinking that my husband is the same as you saw him, but just
Last
needed a
year.
little help.
Yeah.
My head is not, he's an invalid. That was not in
Right.
my head.
Right.
So they said, do you need us to walk you to the room? And I said, no.
Mm.
Because up until that point, I never would have thought he would need help up to the room because I was going to be there. He was on a walker, blah, blah, blah. So we get to the elevator, and my husband's been experiencing just a little bit of cognition issues. I didn't
Mhm.
know how much until recently, but, um, and we got out of the elevator, and it's not the elevator we normally use. But no matter what elevator we use, when we get off the elevator, we have to go right. And when we get out of the elevator, my husband sees a different view than normal, and he says, I'm sorry, we have to go left. And my husband says, it's a right. And I said, no, honey, it's a left. No matter which elevator we use, we have
Mhm.
to go left to get you to your room. And we got into a little bit of a tiz. And he said, just go to the room. And I said, okay, fine, I will. And I left him there on his walker and I
Mhm.
walked to the room, turned around. He wasn't there. I went back to the elevator and he was on the floor. Now, the assisted living community, even though I signed a document saying that they gave us the help watch. So there's a watch that they wear or a necklace. They push the button and somebody comes. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but it's a half an hour to 90 minutes before they come anyway.
What?
Yep, because it's assisted, it's not skilled. And here's the thing though, he has a 911 call button that he wears. And I told him after I found out how long it was going to take them to, sometimes they're there in 5 minutes, but usually it's a half an hour. One time it was 90 minutes. And so I told, we'll get back to that, but I told my husband, wear this 911 necklace while you're here. And if you're
Mhm.
ever on the floor again, hit that button and you can
Right.
have the fire department come to the assisted living community and find
Right.
you
Right.
because there's no why he should if he's on the floor that he should be on there more than 5 minutes, so or 10 or 15 or whatever it takes. Usually took the fire department 15 minutes to get to us when I had to call them to come
Wow.
because it's not an emergency to get somebody off the floor, but you don't
I
want them there.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand, but don't know if there's
Nine,
if they have a brain bleed, if they're
well,
having a seizure.
the button will talk to you.
Okay.
It's a cell phone, so it'll find him anywhere. Also gives him a GPS location.
So,
So so let me finish.
mhm.
So we called him. They got him to the room, and then at 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call. He wants to go to the. Did I tell you this last week?
No.
Okay, they said he wants to go to the ER. Well, he had just been to the ER end of August, and this was the
Mhm.
beginning of December, and I knew what they were going to do because it was for the
Mm.
same thing. It was for a fall. They were going to do a CT scan,
Mhm.
not find anything, and then give him lorazepam and acetaminophen. And
Mm.
I'm like, you have lorazepam and acetaminophen. Just take one of each, and then we'll see what happened. And the reason why he wanted to go to the ER is because he had body aches all over. Well, that's from his fall. That's
Mhm.
because he clenched up, tightened his muscles when he fell. And there's nothing you can do about that. And I don't think it's healthy to have CT scans every 3 months. I don't think that's good
Mhm.
for your brain. And
Probably
so
not.
so he didn't, he did that. He went to sleep and fine. But then all that next week, all the rest of that week, he never got out of bed. So that should have been my first clue that
Mhm.
something had happened. But anyway, during that time, apparently, that he was there at the assisted living for 2 weeks, he got a bed sore. And they didn't take care of it. They, not because of the bed sore, but because of his ambulation issues, they said he needs to go to therapy. And now here we are. He's at therapy, but it is a holiday. He's
Mhm.
supposed to be getting 3 to 4 hours of therapy a day, and it's
Mhm.
been averaging 1 hour a day. His discharge is still in that 2 weeks. Now, Medicare only allows 2 weeks of this rehab hospital. But I don't think that's fair because he's not getting the same 2 weeks that other people get, like October 1 through October 15th. It's not
Right.
fair. So I need to find out how to file an appeal with Medicare and also how to stop the discharge. That right now, I'm not going to stop it right now because we're still a week away from discharge and miracles. I mean, this this rehab hospital has a whenever I tell anybody that that's where, including a nurse in Florida, because they're a national, they have rehabs everywhere. I always hear, "Oh, good, he's going to get the help he needs.
Mhm.
He's gonna do better." Has a stellar reputation, and I don't want to sully their reputation either. If he in a week is able to walk on his own, I will be thrilled. But if he can't, and it's walking and the bed sore, then I need to find a way to appeal so that he
Mhm.
is not discharged. And I know that there's ways to do that. Joanna, have you ever heard of somebody filing, what do you call it, to stop the discharge? There is an emergency appeal. There's ways to stop the discharge. I know there is, but I don't know if you have experience with that because,
No, like that's why I wanted to talk about this because normally we don't hear about this side of care with our senior clients. Like I've been doing Medicare. for almost 10 years, and I worked at Social Security for almost 10 years. A few of those years overlapped. So, I mean, nobody's ever told me about the problems with this. I mean, usually I hear about people, getting kicked out of rehabs and stuff because they didn't meet the qualifications to stay in, like the Medicare benchmarks is what I guess they call it. But that's when they decide that there's no more care to give, like the person's not going to progress. I'm really just flabbergasted. My guest has been flabbered that that he first got in SOAR and you weren't told about it. It's not documented, and then they're refusing to take him back because of what they caused. Like that's some nonsense, and that their license needs to be reviewed by whatever board licenses them.
Yeah, I am looking at something. It says preventing unsafe discharges from hospitals. And
Is the rehab considered a hospital?
it's a hospital. It's a rehab
So I
hospital.
have seen that where, like, there was actually in one of the Facebook groups for seniors, there was somebody saying that their parent was getting kicked out of a rehab for failure for Medicare to pay or whatever, and they were gonna drop him at a homeless shelter, and she's like, "What?"
What? They
Yes,
can't do that, can they?
that well, apparently it gets done illegally. There's a lot of things that get done that are not appropriate or illegal, but they still
'Cause-
get done.
And that was a skilled nursing facility or was that a
I'm not sure.
hospital?
No, it's skilled nursing, and I have friends that are social workers. When I worked at Social Security, I would get called all the time from a big hospital in Atlanta called Grady, and the social worker there, she's now moved on to a different hospital. But Rhonda used to call me all the time saying, "I need you to find this person. They were just dumped at the ER. They were just whatever, and it happens.
Yeah, I know that there's an ombudsman, I believe, in every state that can help you with assisted living and skilled nursing, but I don't know about hospitals.
So
Hospitals is a Medicare issue, I think, isn't it?
the ChatGPT, my friend here at ChatGPT, says that the language you need to use, the phrase that the magic is, I'm appealing this discharge because it is unsafe. And you have to say it to the rehab or SNF's discharge planner, the nurse in charge, and the administrator. And this forces them to pause and triggers Medicare appeal rights. At the same time, you need to call the QIO, Quality Improvement Organization. The Quality Improvement Organization is to review unsafe discharges. The rehab must give the patient a notice of Medicare non coverage, NOMNC, with a QIO phone number on it. If they can't find it, I have the phone number for you. It's obviously 1-800 Medicare. And then you say, I need to file an expedited appeal for an unsafe discharge from a skilled nursing facility. And then
It's not
Medicare
a
will,
skilled nursing.
it's not skilled
Nursing.
nursing.
It's a
Okay.
hospital.
Well, so what's the rules for someone to be in a hospital? So only skilled
That's the
nursing
thing.
has the rules, right?
I don't know, because hospitals are also covered under Medicare, right? But I'm looking at this lawyer, but they're not in South Carolina, they're in Michigan, that talks about hospital early discharge,
Well, wouldn't the
unsafe
rules
discharges.
be the same because Medicare is federal?
Well, maybe, but who knows? I mean,
A Medicare rehab hospital or IRF is for intensive rehab, not just needs therapy. Think
yes,
stroke
that's
rehab,
what he's
spinal cord injury, major trauma, brain injury, not grandma is weak. The non negotiable Medicare requirements: a qualified medical condition,
okay,
serious functional impairment like a stroke, brain injury, hip fracture with
right?
complications, Parkinson's would decline. He
And he does
that's
have
what he
that.
Parkinson's would decline. The patient must tolerate intensive therapy. That's the biggest gatekeeper they're saying is Medicare requires the patient to tolerate at least 3 hours of therapy per day, at
See,
least 5 days a week.
and
He's
he's
not
not
getting
getting
it.
it. He's only getting one.
You
And
need to
so
call and complain.
I want them to extend his discharge date after 2 weeks after he's getting three. He's only gotten 1 day of 3 hours. Now, I've thrown away all the papers that say what his therapy is. I need to get those
Mhm.
back. I wonder if they'll print them up for me again because every day on his desk, they have his therapy times. and I've been throwing them away. So that's another thing, listener. Tell your staff, tell your clients, do not throw those away
Yeah.
so that they can prove how much therapy the person actually got. And, so I've been throwing them away. That was pretty dumb. You would think that somebody like me would know to keep that stuff, but I didn't think I was going to need it. But now that he has a discharge date that's a week away and he hasn't gotten his 3 hours.
Hold on. ChatGPT said this is a big problem. The core Medicare rule, they cannot judge, the hospital cannot judge. An IRF is paid by Medicare because they are providing intensive rehab, an average of 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, multiple therapy disciplines. If they're not delivering that, then they're out of compliance with the IRF on the conditions of payment. They can't get paid by Medicare if they're violating the Medicare standard. They
So
don't
now what
get,
do I do? Because we can't
uh huh.
afford, I don't know how much that costs, but I'm guessing it's a
Hold on.
lot. We can't afford it either without
Well, you,
Medicare.
but I mean, Medicare is not going to make you pay it, but if the therapy is being missed, the why matters. The patient is temporarily unable. So, are they going
No,
to say that your husband is unable because he's acutely illness, medically
no.
unstable, short term fatigued? In that case, they should be adjusted, not eliminated. Discharge is not appropriate. The plan must be updated. The facility failed to provide therapy. That sounds like that. Examples: staffing shortage, schedule
That's it.
issues,
That's it.
therapy, poor coordination. The 100%, this is 100% of the facility, and they cannot justify discharge.
Oh, can you send that to me?
What
Good.
Medicare does not allow, you're not tolerating therapy if they haven't attempted it. So they can't
They haven't
discharge him.
attempted it.
You're
Okay,
not
good,
appropriate for
because
IRF anymore because of staffing. Insurance won't cover it while still billing IRF rates. We're just discharge you to an NSF or home without due process. That's a compliance nightmare for them. So this is what you need to do. You need to ask for the daily therapy logs, missed visit notes, physician
wait,
progress
wait.
notes.
Are
I'm going
you
to send
sending
this to
that
you.
to me?
hmm
Okay, good, because
Uh,
that's what
this is why
needed from
AI
me.
is amazing because it
Well, it's
scoured
also
the internet
Joanna.
for this.
Joanna knows
Joanna
what
is
to ask.
amazing.
She also, you have to know what to ask AI and how
Yes.
to ask it. You can't, a lot
Yeah,
of times
I'm
AI
doing
is
a
wrong.
whole course on that, by the way, because I've
Thank
been
you.
working on some AI stuff, and you do know how to word stuff.
And you have
Um,
to know when it's wrong. You have to know enough about the
yes,
topic to know when it's giving you BS.
right. If therapy is missing, it'll show. Use the unsafe discharge appeal. Same day, same process as before, but stronger. Say, we're appealing this discharge as unsafe. The patient's not receiving the intensive therapy required of an IRF and remains medically and functionally appropriate for continued inpatient rehab. File the expedited appeal through the QIO immediately, and then escalate eternally. You need to ask for the rehab medical director, case management supervisor, facility. Just move fast when you say IRF compliance out loud. That's the key word. Just like agents jump when we say,
Compliance.
grievance, allegation, right?
Now,
Um,
does it say, so I should wait though closer to the discharge date? I shouldn't do it
yes.
now.
Well, no, I mean, you see, if it was my loved one, I would be visiting the facility administrator right now, today, and say, I have some concerns that, my spouse has been here for
A
however
week?
many days, a week, and he has not been given 3 hours a day for rehab as required by IRF compliance. You want to get ahead of this. You don't want him to be there another week during the New Year's week, and then, you know what I'm saying? And then he's failing to progress. Every day matters for your husband because he's rapidly declining. And
Well,
I don't.
he has been getting a little bit better since he's there. Like yesterday, he was able to
Okay.
scoot
Very
his butt
happy to hear
over.
that.
So he
Okay.
is getting a little bit better. But my fear is that he's not. And also my fear is that he's going to include. They send him to a small room to eat,
Mhm.
and it says not available. So that means not available for PT, OT, speech therapy. Like yesterday, all he got was speech therapy for an hour. That was his only. But now, yesterday was Christmas. Okay, I understand that. But this has been an ongoing thing. And this is why I was concerned. And I asked them when he moved in, I said, is he going to be able to get the therapy that he needs? And they said,
Mhm.
well, he'll get more therapy when we have, well, they give him 6 hours of therapy every day next week because he will not be able to tolerate that.
Right.
They need to do the 3 hours that they're supposed to do and extend his stay to where he gets 2 weeks of that, not an hour here, 2 hours there. He needs the 3 hours a day, like they promised.
Mhm.
So
Well,
you think I should talk to
that's
them
what they're
now?
billing Medicare for.
So you think I should do it
Yeah.
today?
Why wait until they've already failed him? I would get ahead of it if because you don't want them to continue to fail him. You want him to be able to recover enough to go back to an assisted living. So I would
Exactly.
meet with the head honcho, the facility administrator.
I bet they're not even there right now. People are on
Use the word
vacation.
IRF compliance. Say, my husband has been here for a week. He has not gotten the required 3 hours of care a day, the 3 hours of therapy
Not
per
care.
day,
Yeah, therapy.
and he had, you know, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. He's not going to advance to be able to go back to, assisted
Assisted.
living. Mhm.
Well, anyway, speaking of assisted living, I was told by the doctor that guess how long it takes for a bed sore to heal?
3 to 6 months.
Did I say that or you just knew that?
You said that.
Oh,
No, you told me before we started recording,
yeah. Now
and
I'm
I'm
losing my
just
mind.
flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted by gasting. I mean, my first issue with this place is they didn't tell you. Like, all right, so like I have a newborn baby. If I sent my newborn to daycare and she got a diaper rash, I would expect to be told the
She
first
has a
notice of a
diaper
diaper
rag. Yeah.
rash. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
here's the thing. The resident aide that saw the bed sore the first time, she did say, "Oh, I need to watch this. I there's something here." And she put some cream on it, but I didn't
Hmm.
understand that it was a bed sore, and I didn't understand how important that was.
Yeah.
I'm not a medical professional,
Right.
and so I didn't know, and I think that should have been documented somewhere
Hmm.
so that the other people who were changing him took special care of that because when I saw her the second time that there was something going on and she said, "Oh, this has gotten bigger." And then she was really concerned. She said, because she's a certified nurse's aide, she said,
Hmm.
"This has gotten bigger. I'm concerned about this." And that's when I documented it. But she was the only one that ever said anything about that. And she doesn't work every day. It seems like all those people are part-time and they're
Hmm.
changing the halls that they're on or whatever. I don't see the same people all the time.
Hmm.
But she is definitely the best person, in my opinion, there that
Hmm.
I've worked with. And, so I'm just concerned about all of this stuff. So you think I should go and talk with them about IRF compliance today at the
Why?
why wait?
Why wait?
But then let's say they get him walking and then the assisted living won't take him back because of the bed sore.
I think let's get him walking. I
Deal
would
with that
rather
issue.
see. I would rather see your husband progress. And I mean, if we can't get him into the place that he was, then I mean, we'll just search for something different. If I have to fly in and take care of less myself, I will. And
No,
I'm not
that is
joking.
not your job.
I'm not
Okay,
joking.
I want to talk to all of Joanna's downlines and friends. Okay, please don't overuse Joanna. She's got a brand new baby. Don't let her come in and do stuff like that for you. Okay, Joanna, thank you very much for the offer. I'd love to see you just as a friend, but no, not to take care of my husband. We need to deal with our own issues as your downline and friends. Don't let
but
people take too much advantage of you, Joanna.
It's not. It's like, but that's what I would do for my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and this is reality for me. Like, my parents are 72 years old, you know? My dad is not 155 pounds. He's probably, if I had to guess, at least 230 and, 5'11". And he's muscular because he's been in the gym for 40 years. And, my dad's probably biggest fear is his kids seeing him naked, you know? So,
Well,
like,
there's a
but
point where, there's no shame after that. I try to keep less my husband covered and everything, but
mhm. Mhm.
when you're at the point where someone's changing you, honestly, Joanna, I think you don't care.
Yeah.
You're in pain, you can't move, you're like, I just need help. I know we all
Mhm.
have pride and I've been saying this for about a year or two now. I think that and I am a Christian and I do believe in God and I think that part of this process that we are going through now of getting old, our country is very prideful and myself
Mhm.
included.
Mhm.
What we're taught. We're taught to be prideful, we're taught to be self-sufficient, we're taught
Mhm.
to, but I think that part of this way that we get old now is part of
Mhm.
God making us humble before we meet him. God and
Mhm.
Jesus. We have to be humbled. And people use the word humbled wrongly. Humbled does, people say, "Oh, I'm so thankful for this award. I'm very humble." No, you mean proud. Okay?
Yeah.
Humbled is the opposite of how people use that word now. Humbled is
Okay.
not pride. It's down, it's
Mhm.
so I don't know how to explain it because I'm not a dictionary, but I can tell you that a lot of people use the word humbled incorrect, like the
Incorrectly.
opposite of
I would
it,
agree with that.
it's the opposite of what it actually means.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I'm hoping that I don't get humbled by, I try not to be prideful, but it's hard. This is our culture. We are taught to be prideful and to
Mhm.
talk about our, you know, the good things in our lives and not really talk about the bad things. It's the whole point of social media, right? Is to kind of
You're not
help
supposed to
other,
talk about the bad things. You're supposed
right?
to be flying on a jet everywhere.
Exactly. We don't take pictures of, if you are seeing this and if Joanna hasn't taken out my background. I mean, my office behind me is like a total complete, mess.
Right.
My behind me is my bookcase with all of my Medicare stuff and my dolls and all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff back there. And that's not something that people would normally see as a background
Right.
on a video. So this is why I'm an audio person. But anyway, so I think you've given me good advice. I'm now for the listener, when your clients call you and
Mhm.
say, "What do I do?" If you can become a resource like Joanna has just become a resource, and even though it's not your quote job, just giving them the number that they can call,
Mhm.
the resources, and not doing it for them. Please don't do that. You don't want to get yourselves involved in any kind of legal thing where it was your fault something happened, but you can give them resources. You can say, you know, here's what it's saying. This might be an unsafe discharge. Here's who you can talk to. Here's a phone number. Here's a website and things like that. And that's all I'm saying. Your clients are going through, a lot of them are going through a lot. And that could also be why sometimes they're, cranky with you or anybody because they're going through some stuff. And sometimes we just have to give people grace. So that's it. So, Joanna, thanks so much for this episode. And listeners, we'll see you next time on the Insurance Business Babes podcast. Bye.
Bye.